and volunteer your time today.
From CBS and WEVV-TV. Around the tri-state, your news starts now.
Evansville's minor league baseball team, the Evansville Otters, may soon have a new owner.
Good afternoon, everybody. We'll have more on that in a moment, but first, U.S. postal investigators are trying to figure out who has been stealing mail out of tri-state mailboxes.
A recent rash of mailbox thefts have left postal workers and residents upset. Over 100 pieces of mail turned up in a dumpster behind Carpet Land in Evansville. A spokesperson for the post office says officials there are investigating the incident, which they believe happened sometime on Friday. They say the victims from Newburgh, Henderson, and Evansville mostly lived in more secluded areas and had flags on their mailboxes. Mark Tenbarge says some of the mail was opened. He suspects the person or persons responsible were looking for money.
This is a very isolated incident. In the city of Evansville, we have very little problems with mail tampering.
And I had noticed the last few days I wasn't getting much, and I usually get a lot of mail, catalogs, and lots of junk mail.
The post office is currently contacting those people whose mail was stolen. Now, post office officials remind you never to send cash through the mail. Instead, they say you should use a check whenever possible. The post office is also asking that you report to them any suspicious vehicles or persons that you may see around your mailbox.
Evansville's professional baseball team could have new owners by the end of this week. Otters general manager Jim Miller says one of the team's original stockholders from New Jersey has taken the necessary steps to purchase the team from current owner Tom Sullivan. Miller says the move will help the team become more competitive. Owners from the 7 other Frontier League teams have approved the sale. Miller says the team will stay in Evansville. Gibson County officials have okayed a 10-year tax abatement for Toyota's T100 truck plant. County Council's President Hubert Crawford says the abatement was unanimously approved after a public hearing this morning. Crawford says the money Toyota would be paying in taxes will instead go toward infrastructure improvements needed for the plant.
Well, training is scheduled to start soon for people wanting to obtain permits to carry concealed weapons in the state of Kentucky. The state will start out by training about 200 instructors who will then train others to teach the course. The training will begin in late August or September. The state expects 1,000 to 2,500 people to eventually become instructors.
Several residents of Evansville spoke out last night on behalf of the old Vanderburgh County Courthouse.
The issue of possibly selling the landmark was raised a few weeks ago by County Commissioner Richard Murdoch, and many residents let the commission know where they stand on the emotional issue. News Now's Julie Knable has more.
Room only for the public hearing to debate whether the old courthouse should be put up for sale, and the message was clear, a resounding no.
If the community can support a stadium for tractor pulls and rock concerts and basketball games, it should be able to support its historical heritage.
Many in the audience were tenants of the building and say the old courthouse provides affordable rent.
People that could not afford a large overhead can afford the space that is available in the old courthouse.
The old courthouse provides office space for a variety of profit and nonprofit organizations at affordable rates. The proposal of installing central air conditioning will provide a more cost-effective alternative and solution to the current Civic Center overcrowding. In my tenure on council, this is the only major expense that I know of for the old courthouse that's been discussed.
The courthouse was built in the late 1800s, and there were many fans of its design and architecture in the crowd.
The century-old Vanderburgh County Courthouse is a real gem of architecture and of art, which all citizens in the county should be proud of. The mere suggestion of selling it to a private developer to do with it whatever he wants is nothing less than preposterous, I think.
In honor of preservation and architecture, it, along with a few other buildings in our Evansville downtown area, preserve a style that will no longer be duplicated, a history that will never be repeated.
Over a dozen people spoke in favor of the county keeping the structure. No one mentioned selling it. Following the hearing, the man who raised the issue for debate, Richard Murdoch, said the county needs a vision for the building.
Dick Murdoch is not the Dr. Jack Kevorkian of historic structures in Evansville, Indiana. I do not want to see the old courthouse die. I want to see it renovated. I want to see it become what all of you at this microphone tonight talked about.
In Evansville, Julie Knable, News Now.
Still to be debated will be the cost of any renovations to the old courthouse and who would pick up the tab for the work.
There was also plenty of heated discussion last night at the Evansville-Vandenberg School Board meeting. At issue, should a pub be able to open virtually across the street from the Signature School downtown? A group of investors is applying for a liquor license for a restaurant set to open in the basement of the Hilliard Lyons building. It would be less than 200 feet from the Signature School's current location, right across the street. That violates state law unless officials decide the alternative school is not technically a school. Some board members say that sends the wrong message to teens about drinking, but investors disagree.
The fourth straight year, the use of marijuana has increased across all grade levels and frequency measures. Monthly marijuana use by high school seniors increased from 14.4% in 1992 to 25.2% this year.
The investors' request for a liquor license will go before the Alcohol Beverage Commission next week. If the license is granted, the pub could be open by the end of the year.
The school board also increased the price of education last night. The board accepted the superintendent's request to hike the cost of school lunches. Meals at the elementary school will go up to $1.25, while meals at the middle and high schools would increase to $1.50. The board also increased breakfast prices and textbook rental fees.
Well, still ahead on a Tuesday News Now at noon, Michael Schlesinger is in to tell us about the rest of this week's forecast.
And we'll tell you a whopper of a fishing story. Please stay with us.
Now, your AccuWeather forecast on WEVV-TV.
Well, it finally started getting a little bit more heated outside today, but I still don't think we can complain. It's been really nice outside for a while.
Not too bad yet, but hopefully we're keeping our fingers crossed that it's not going to be really bad today.
Yet is the operative word. You just know summertime has to come back into the picture, getting down to summertime business once again. Heat, humidity creeping back into the forecast. Starting today, temperature now in Evansville, we do have a reading of 84 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Also in Owensboro, same conditions. Your humidity, 55%, winds from the west, barometer on the rise, high pressure still in place. Here are your temperatures at this hour, mainly in the low to mid 80s, 81 degrees in Flora, 82 degrees in Vincennes, 84 in Jasper, and off to the south readings, just a little warmer, 85 degrees in Madisonville. Clouds in motion. Well, for the most part, we are in the clear once again across the tri-state, but just to the north, across northern Indiana and Illinois, we have some cloud cover, also some showers earlier on with an upper level low pressure system, and you can follow the trail of moisture back into the upper Midwest. And also we have clouds off the East Coast with a departing storm system, area of low pressure and affiliated cold front. That system moved through on Sunday, gave us our flooding rains, and then more moisture for Florida, not really living up to its reputation, not really the sunshine state today. And more moisture for Texas and then the far west. You can see where it is raining, of course, where we have the clouds. Take a look, not here, it's pretty fair, fairly dry. You're finding all your ferocious thunderstorms. You see the red shadings pretty much from the Carolina coast down to the south, Orlando, Florida getting hit pretty hard. Then you head back along the Gulf Coast region, Dallas, Texas, getting some rain showers. They had about a half an inch overnight. Saw some flooding problems there. And then you pick up your moisture out in the upper Midwest. And then again, parts of the northern Rockies. Well, here are the players on the map. Area of high pressure still in control. And with high pressure, typically you get air that sinks, compresses, and heats up. And that's what we're finding today, and kind of keeping a cap on all type of weather activity. Meantime, what's going to happen tomorrow, high pressure zipping off the East Coast. We're on the backside of the system, a warm, moist flow coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. We'll have to watch a cluster of thunderstorms developing over the upper Midwest, over Iowa tonight. Some of that energy heading in tomorrow. So with the daytime heating especially, we could find some widely scattered thunderstorms. Here's your forecast for today, 90 degrees. Finally making it to 90. It's been some time since we have seen that temperature. Plenty of sunshine for your Tuesday. For tonight, Not quite as cool as it has been, low 68 degrees, and tomorrow 91. Again, widely scattered thunderstorms with some energy coming in from the west in your extended forecast. Mainly the low to mid-90s Thursday through Saturday. Best shot of rain coming in on Thursday. Scattered showers and storms. Lows tonight mainly in the low to mid-70s.
You say finally making it to the 90s.
We've been in the 80s for a while.
That's right.
So
it was nice, though, while it lasted.
Definitely.
The chumpatures are on the way up, then.
Chumpatures. I just created a new word.
Thanks, Michael.
Sure.
Stay with us. Coming up, a judge has decided to allow broadcasting of the Oklahoma City bombing trial on closed-circuit TV. We'll explain.
And coming up a little later, can the body heal itself? We'll take a look and try to answer that question coming up in our health report. Stay with us.
Leadership.
Experience the original phenomenon, classic Star Trek on WTSN.
Did you know that there are so many Star Trek fans that the word Trekkie actually appears in the Oxford Dictionary? Every year, over 250,000 Trekkies gather at conventions from all corners of the globe to swap stories and collect rare merchandise. Believe it or not, over half of the American public consider themselves fans. Chances are someone you know is a Trekkie.
See classic Star Trek weeknights at 9 on WTSN, Channel 63.
This is Les Shiver.
Tim Black, Angela Cleaning, and meteorologist Michael Schlesinger. News Now at noon continues.
A viewing victory for victims of the Oklahoma City bombing.
A judge has decided to allow victims to watch the trial of suspect Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols on closed-circuit TV. Rick Salinger reports.
I think if anybody here had lost a child, would want to be able to view the trial.
For the families of the bomb victims and those who survived, it was a small victory in this year and a half of pain.
This is a victory for ordinary citizens that happen to be victims of this particular awful crime.
Judge Richard Maitch ruled a camera in his courtroom would not violate the rights of the defendants. It will be a single camera hidden in the wall with a fixed panoramic picture transmitting back to the federal courthouse in Oklahoma City.
It's the best we can hope for, and it'd be in a panoramic view of the courtroom. It's something the victims in Oklahoma City wanted and Congress provided for.
It was provided in anti-terrorism legislation passed by Congress following the Oklahoma City bombing. But lawyers for defendants Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols asked the judge to declare it unconstitutional.
I think we can all understand that if the Congress is able to change the rules in the middle of a pending case and overrule decisions by judges, that can be a rather dangerous matter.
While the judge has given his okay, this may not be a done deal yet. There are still many concerns. For example, who will be allowed to view the proceedings, and what can be done to keep the signal from being pirated. The judge has scheduled a hearing to work all that out, but he's indicated the problems could be insurmountable. Rick Salinger for CBS News.
The group that purchased the former West Baden Springs Hotel begins to make good on its promise to renovate the aging structure. Crews have been working on repairing the former hotel, which was once a favorite vacation spot for Al Capone. The historic Indiana Landmark Foundation purchased the hotel last month. Its goal is to refurbish the building and then sell it.
Well, Evansville area officials are putting together an ozone plan that won't be ready until the summer heat and smog are gone. The plan, however, is mandatory. Attorneys for the city and Vanderburgh County say a first draft may be ready sometime in October. Well, with the exception for a few minor tweaks, the new Posey County ozone monitoring site is up and functioning this morning. Following a weekend of testing, the state-funded station will help better monitor harmful pollutant levels from industry before they ride the prevailing winds, presumably right into Vanderburgh County.
The air, the water, they don't recognize governmental lines. They move on. And what comes out of Posey goes elsewhere in the wind.
This particular station will take different meteorological readings as well, like wind speed and direction, temperature, and the humidity level.
A tri-state congressman introduces legislation he says will lead to increased productivity for farmers and lower costs for consumers. Ron Lewis unveiled his Precision Agricultural Research Act. He says the bill will provide grants to colleges and universities, which will then teach farmers how to apply computers, satellites, and other high-tech devices to farming. Lewis says it will take several years before farmers see results from the bill.
In some health news today, Illinois officials say new expensive AIDS drugs could overwhelm a state program that pays for prescriptions for low-income AIDS patients. Rising drug costs forced the State Department of Public Health to cut 3/4 of the anti-AIDS drug it formerly would pay for. Drug costs are rising much faster than the program's budget, even though the budget has tripled over the past 2 years.
Imagine the day when you don't have to take medicine to help cure what ails you. Instead, your own body will heal itself. News Now's Michael Schlesinger tells us about a new type of treatment that could bring sweeping change to the medical world.
Looks to the future, at least as far as medicine goes.
A new technology that is leading to a new generation of new medicines.
He represents a pharmaceutical company backing biotechnology medicines. Essentially, these are really the body's own natural substances fighting diseases. There are 3 well-known biotechnology types. The first, genetic engineering. That's taking the body's cells out of the body, treating them and reinserting them to defeat harmful agents. It's very specific.
To very precisely attack just the disease cells, sparing the healthy tissue nearby.
Another method is the use of monoclonal antibodies. Basically, that's using the body's own proteins to fight infections. And finally, there's gene therapy. It seems to be getting the most publicity. Moral and ethical questions are raised.
Have these questions to answer, but let's not stop the research. Let's not stop the progress of the technology while we are in the process of answering the questions, because this research is really terribly important. It really is a matter of developing new generation medicines that have a strong potential to be safer and more effective.
Reportedly, 34 biotechnology drugs are out on the market directed to fighting cancer, diabetes, cystic fibrosis, and heart disease, to name a few. Meantime, about 300 of these drugs are being developed, half expected to fight either cancer or AIDS.
You're talking about a major development here in pharmaceutical science.
Supporters of biotech medicine hope to see major results from this research in the form of treatments and cures of age-old diseases within 5 to 10 years. In Evansville, I'm Michael Schlesinger, News Now.
Biotechnology drugs in development by pharmaceutical companies have reportedly tripled since the late 80s.
Well, coming up next, Adam Alexander will be along with a look at sports on this Tuesday.
And we will tell you what's coming up later on News Now at 5 and 10. Stay with us.
Your back-to-school shopping.
Who's this?
Just someone who's very attracted to you.
Stalked by a woman.
I'm a happily married man.
Sent you flowers?
He claims he's never met her.
He's following me. Tell me the truth so I can deal with this.
Now, the threat of this obsessed stranger
I just want you so badly that I do crazy things.
is getting closer and closer to home.
You leave us alone.
Based on an incredible true story, Harry Hamlin, Annie Potts, her deadly rival, CBS Tonight. Now, your sports team, Adam Alexander and Chris Goodman on WEVV-TV.
All right, let's talk a little sports, and we'll start things off with baseball. St. Louis Cardinals simply on fire of late, winning 8 of their last 10 and 3 in a row. One game up on Houston over in the Central last night. Tony La Russa and the boys down the Ohio River, taking on Cincinnati. Ray Langford. The Cardinals are on fire. Ray Langford on fire himself. Here, deep to right field. Here, deep to right field. 2 home runs on the night. And then to put fuel on the fire, he would triple the other way. Watch this. Bang. 5 RBIs, a career high for Langford. And the Cardinals win their 4th in a row. 8-3 is the final. Houston loses. The Cardinals now have a 2-game lead in the Central. Let's move to the American League last night. Baltimore sending Cal Ripken to third base. First time he's not started at shortstop in 2,216 games, and it doesn't matter where he plays. He's got that glove a-working. Nice defense there. Rafael Palmeiro with the bat last night. 4-1, Toronto on top. He sends this one deep. A 3-run shot. We're all tied at 4 apiece. When it's tied at 6 in the bottom of the ninth, the Orioles call on Chris Hoyles. It's gone, and the Birds win last night. 8-6 the final over Toronto. Local baseball, the Evansville Otters wrap up their road swing at Richmond. 12-3 they win last night. 2-game winning streak as they had the All-Star break. They are off until Friday when they're on the road at Chillicothe. Tonight, Kevin Hardy leaves Evansville to head to Jacksonville for training camp. We'll talk to the former Harrison High grad. We'll talk to him tonight at 5. We'll talk to him tonight at 10. It's going to be great, and you don't want to miss it. That is sports. I'm Adam Alexander. We will talk to you later, everybody.
When we come back, we'll have a check of your weather with meteorologist Michael Schlesinger.
And we will show you the largest mako shark ever caught. Don't want to miss that. Stay with us.
Coming right.
Checking our top stories at this hour, U.S. Postal investigators are trying to figure out who is stealing mail out of area mailboxes. Evansville residents spoke out last night on behalf of the old Courthouse building in downtown Evansville. City Commissioner Richard Murdoch believes it should be sold. And the Evansville-Vandenberg School Board okays a price hike on school lunches, breakfast, and textbooks.
Coming up later today on News Now at 5, the Evansville Utility Board meets today to announce a sewer rate hike. We'll tell you what they're proposing, and we'll have the latest on the possible sale of the Evansville Otters minor league baseball team. And on an Evansville mom who's fighting for custody of her kids is back in court today, along with those who feel she's an unfit mother. Joining us right now is Michael Schlesinger with our terrific forecast.
Tuesday forecast. Plenty of sunshine, getting more warm, more humid. Imagine that. Tuesday. For tonight, low 68 degrees, not quite as cool as it has been. And tomorrow, 91 degrees, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and the evening hours, especially to the north and west of the tri-state, with some energy coming in from the upper Midwest. And your extended forecast, 93 on Thursday, more of the same on that day. The 94 for Friday and Saturday, drying out. Lows tonight mainly from the low to mid-70s. Of course, we have, like I keep saying, a mutual friend getting married on Saturday, actually the producer of the show, and looking pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so it's not so bad.
Yeah. She'll be glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Sunshine.
Thanks, Michael. Well, what a catch yesterday off Redondo Beach in California. Just don't touch the teeth. What you're going to see here is a 10-foot-long, 740-pound mako shark caught about 17 miles off the California coast. That's the biggest one ever caught. Barry Anderson reeled it in after a 2.5-hour struggle with the big fish. Anderson says it usually takes 2 bullets to kill a mako. This one took 12 rounds from a .357 Magnum.
They have it iced down there. I don't know why a shark
What do you do with
needs
that
ice.
after that? Do you stuff a shark or mount a shark? Is that...
Save the teeth.
A man-eating shark and a woman-eating shrimp.
That will do it for us on this Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
And we'll also have more news for you at 5 and 10. Have a good day, everybody.
It starts with talk, it ends with answers. Montel brings us together weekdays at 3 on WEVV-TV.